Hey everyone, welcome back to the final episode of Bassacre for the season. It's just me today, no Chris Grow, no Mark Fisher. We are all staying in different locations. I'm fortunate enough to have a brother-in-law that lives here in a beautiful house, so I get to crash here. Mark has a lake house not too far away, so he gets to crash there. Chris has friends in town, so he's crashing there. That leaves me as the only individual of the Bassacre crew to shoot the video. So I am doing this while I'm sitting in the baking sun, rigging rods up for tomorrow's tournament. I'm excited to get out there. I'm excited to get this season over with. I really, really hope that it goes well and I can get out of here with a BPT berth. But the reality is, practice was terrible. Practice was not what I was expecting. The river is at such a low level right now that there is very, very little current anywhere. The main river channel has a lot of areas that are completely stagnant in terms of like where the wing dams are diverting current to. So that's really unusual. We had amazing floods this spring, and what that did is move a lot of the sand around to the point where it actually moved a lot of sand piles in front of some of the chutes. So with this low water we have, a lot of these chutes that lead from the main river into the backwaters are completely high and dry right now. And what that does is it creates a lot of stagnant water. So there are some major backwater complexes on pool 7, 8, and 9 that are stagnant, that have no current flowing through them, which is really unusual. And the problem with that is the fish don't the current doesn't position the fish where they should be. A lot of times the fish will use the current to feed. They'll use objects to get out of the current so that they're not expelling energy all the time to feed. So it's the best of both worlds. Being brought to them and they can sit in an eddy, not use up their energy. Well, in this case, we don't have that. We don't have current that is strong enough to position these fish where I want them to be. And that scares me because I've never fished here and had that. It's always been very current orientated. You can find some current on the main channel. The few areas that really have good current flow though seem like they're covered up in boats. So I don't know that it's going to be an easy thing to get on those spots. Um, there's a lot more fish than I've seen this time of year on the main channel, both largemouth and smallmouth. Generally, the largemouth are backwater orientated, smallmouth are more main river, and it seems like you can catch a lot of both species, a lot of small fish. I mean, one positive note on this is I've seen more 6 to 10 inch bass, largemouth than I've seen in a long time here. And maybe that's just because the water is extremely clear. It's the clearest water I've ever seen, and that's because we have no current flow. So maybe I can see a lot more of the bass and they've always been here. Very possible. I'm hoping that what it means is there was a good spawn a couple of years ago, and therefore the past population's in really good shape. Because one side note, we do have Asian carp here. They've been here for a few years now, and lots of guys are asking me, will that devastate the fishery like it did Kentucky Lake? And I don't know. I have no clue as to what that'll do. I'm hopeful that the vegetation that's in this place, which is amazing right now based on the low water, the grass fields that have grown up out of nowhere is ridiculous. So hopefully that gives the bass enough habitat to get away from any sort of environmental issues that the Asian carp are creating. But I don't know. I don't know if what that'll do. Ultimately, the point that I'm getting at is there's a lot of water that I feel like is going to be dead water in this tournament. I think there's going to be a lot of guys on top of each other. I think you're going to see the winners either are coming from the lower ends of pools, which are less affected by falling water or low water. I think you're going to see the potential for the main river channel truly to play, which we don't normally see this time of year. And I think you're going to see this tournament get won by, I hate to say it, guys, for those that hate this, but for forward-facing sonar. I would never have said that this was an event that forward-facing sonar would have played, but because of the low water and the lack of current, I do really think that there's a lot of fish suspended. There's a lot of fish that are going to be, um, caught by people that are scoping them, which generally has never been a player on the river before. And that's not something that I'm doing right now. I probably should have spent more time. I'm getting the sense that that's going on, you know, out on the wing dams, out in some of the areas that are a little bit more stagnant. The fish are still there. They're just not in the current in the places that I generally have targeted them in the past, which is concerning to me. So yeah, we'll see. You know, my plan, I fished all three pools, 7, 8, and 9. Found fish in 9, found fish in 7, did not find fish in 8, which is my favorite pool. So that concerns me a little bit. And I think the fish that I have in both 7 and 9 are pretty much community fish anyways at this point. I don't feel like I found anything that was secret or I'm going to have to myself. So I'm going to just have to go fish around in those areas with people and see if I can generate some bites. I think I'm going to need 11 pounds a day to qualify for BPT. I think we're going to need 12 pounds a day to make the top 50 and fish day 3. This is one of those fisheries, there's a lot of guys in that 10 to 12 pound range. So, you know, one big bite is what you're looking for to separate you from the pack if you have a bunch of 2-pounders. And I don't necessarily feel like I've got a way to do that. I do think, you know, I think there's some good quality fish around. I saw a local guy catch like a 4-pounder in a local tournament yesterday right in front of me. And, you know, I feel like there's fish in that area. But I'm going to really just bunker down, probably go to pool 7 tomorrow. I think I'm going to start on a major community spot because I have a relatively early boat number at one of the spillways. Don't know if I'll get there, but I feel like it's probably worth the try. So we're going to do that. Then we'll probably go up to pool 7. And really, I'm going to pool 7 just because I've got more diversity than pool 9. Pool 9 was mostly smallmouth. Smallmouth can be here today, gone tomorrow. I feel like if I go to pool 7, I've got more diversity, some largemouth, some smallmouth, different types of structure, different techniques and patterns to go with. So I'm going to grab some of my favorite baits, my most confident baits, not necessarily what I would normally throw on the river here. Definitely still ones I would use, but not necessarily what I would completely rely on. But I'm going to be definitely throwing around the Berkley Maxcent 5-inch General. I'm going to be throwing a swim jig. I'll have a tush with a 3.3 or 3.8 Kitech. I've got a frog on. What else do I got? I've got a hover rig with this is Jackal Rhythm Wag. I've got to tie that on still. And I've got a couple of flipping baits. I got a Berkley Maxcent Creature Hog and a Berkley Power Bait Pit Boss. And those are going to be the main players. Plus I've got a big topwater. I've got a big, as you guys saw in the video, a big Vixen. This will be going on as well. And those are going to be the baits of choice. It's going to be a tournament where I'm throwing confident baits. I'm going to be trying to put as many keepers in the boat as possible to get through day 1. And if we can make it through day 1, we'll figure out what to do for day 2. Whether we want to stay in the same pool or make a run and go to a different pool. In either case, this is going to be one where every bite counts, I feel like. I really do think that there's a lot of anglers out there that are not getting that many keeper bites. So if you can put them all in the boat, you get 1 or 2 good quality bites, you can probably separate yourself from other anglers. I do think the winners of this might run away with it. I think you may see, I'll say 3 guys. Yeah, probably 3 guys that I think might be able to average 16 plus pounds a day. I do think we're going to see a lot of the local hammers really come out to shine here, just because if anyone has experience with the river at these super low levels, they would be the ones to know what little backwater, you know, little ponds or ditches have enough water and generally hold fish in really low water years. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not concerned about anyone else. I'm concerned about myself and putting keepers in the boat and trying to accumulate as much weight as possible tomorrow to make it easier on day 2. You know, I don't know that I'm going to be saving fish, but I can tell you I'm not going to burn all day up in pool 7, or if I go to pool 9, maybe on day 2. I'm not going to play the lock game in terms of pushing it to the last minute. So I'd like to be able to have a decent limit by noonish and then lock back so I've got plenty of time. If I get through, great, I'll go fish whatever in pool 8. and try to upgrade, but I don't want to get caught by a lock. That I got too much riding on that at this point. So that's where we're at, guys. Thanks for watching this last episode of Bassacre, and I appreciate all the support, all the kind words. Let's get out there. Let's finish the season off in a high note. Stay tuned. I'll have tournament recap videos for you coming. Thanks for watching, guys.